As we are doing our inner work, one of the most important pieces is connecting with our inner child. This gets into archetypes and to the warrior, the goddess, the trickster, the fool. These are all different archetypes that have existed throughout time. But one of the most powerful is the inner child, and we can have a wounded inner child or a divine inner child, in the sense that the wounded inner child may be scared, just really feeling lost or angry. The divine child can actually be very helpful and give us some advice for our adult lives. So what we're doing when we connect with the inner child is going into the subconscious mind and coming up with an image. And it's often like, a picture that we remember of ourselves. Could be at age 3 all the way up to, usually it's like 9 or 10. And above that age is really more, usually it's between the ages of 5 and 10 that the inner child shows up. But when we go into this state, or we can do it through meditation. A really powerful way to connect with the inner child, of course, is through guided imagery, which I do in the form of hypnotherapy. A very powerful way and an effective way to connect in with that subconscious mind to allow that little boy or girl within us to show up. And so so why do we want to do this? Well, because if we're trying to make progress in our lives to become our highest and best selves, but there's a part of us that we feel is resistant. There's something that's deep within that we could barely put our finger on, that is scared. And it may not even show up as fear, but it shows up as excuses or avoidance or procrastination. And that subconscious resistance is almost always rooted in the inner child. And this comes up a lot more than I think people realize. If we haven't taken the time to really tap into that inner child and get a picture in our mind or a feeling of what she or he is feeling, for one, just helping acknowledge their feelings. And we do this just by feeling like we're making up this interesting image, right? And having this conversation with this little person inside of us, and connecting them with what are they feeling, and listening to that, validating their feelings. I'm sorry that you feel that way. Tell me what that's about. Tell me what it's connected to. And as they continue to share, and as you continue to process and move through this, I like to bring in the spirit guide or our current adult selves, our highest selves, to help comfort that child. Often that child didn't get what she or he needed from their parents. And while we can't change our parents, we can help that child feel that she or he, is safe now, and that has the same effect. So when we go into this sort of subconscious state, we can really do some deep healing. We're connecting in with the feelings that are there. We're helping in with healing. And then once we do that, then we've covered the foundation. Then you can start to say, okay, this is where I want to move in my life. I want to heal. I want to have this future self that I've created, this vision of who I want to be. What ideas do you have, little boy or little girl, within me, to how I can get there? And so what comes up is absolutely fascinating from here, which is guidance from that subconscious part of us, is what little baby steps. Again, we're trying to make sure that inner child feels safe, because the inner child had ways of keeping us safe, for different coping strategies, right? Pushing people away, or putting things off, or maybe even being mean to people as a way to protect themselves. All kinds of different ways, or being really nice, people pleasing, as a way to protect themselves. And so those strategies work until they don't. And that's why we're doing this work, because we're starting to see that those strategies don't work, and we're feeling that there's some resistance. So we connect with them and say, well, what do you think would work? And that little girl or boy part of us will come up with certain ideas. And I've done this with clients recently. So it might be like, just take some time. It could be simple as quiet your mind, or, connect and go into nature, do some painting. Often the inner child really wants to play. So there might be something about, go out dancing, or just go out, spend some more time with friends, or reach out to, a certain person, or it could be anything really. That's a very small, simple step. And then that advice, those action steps that come from our own subconscious minds, are the most powerful forms of wisdom that we can access. And what I've seen with clients is that they actually act on it, and they actually feel that it's possible for them. So in the work that I do with clients in inner child hypnotherapy and guided imagery, we really dig in deep. There's a new modality that I recently learned called an inner child regression, or childhood chakra regression, where we actually go through we connect with the inner child within in different ages. We don't know what ages will come up, but we just go into the subconscious mind. This is hypnotherapy. It's a 2-hour session. And we ask that it's usually there's different experiences, 3 or 4 usually, that have gotten buried in the subconscious mind that the inner child was wounded from. And so those different ages will come up, and we go through that. Sometimes we even actually connect with that memory, not reliving trauma, but just the effects. What's the effects of that memory or that experience that child had? What are the effects that it had on you as an adult, and how did it continue to negatively affect you throughout your life? What are the beliefs and thoughts that came out of that negative experience that you're still holding on to, that you may not even realize is connected to that one little thing somebody said, that one damaging, the comment a bully made at school, or that time that your parent didn't show up for your sports game and that really hurt you, or that time that your sister called you a name and that really felt, really deeply wounded you. So we have to connect in with these. And in this chakra regression, we bring all those inner children together. We ask them what they need to heal. We bring in our guides and our higher selves to help them heal. And we clear out the negative energy. We give them the negative thoughts and beliefs and stories that harmed them, and we give them a voice, expressing what they want to say they didn't get to say at that time to that person that harmed them. And then we bring in light and we bring in healing. And it's a very, very powerful way to just feel a sense of wholeness and integration, and then to actually take action to move forward in your life. So even if you don't come in for a regression, I do these right here in my cabin in person. I also do them virtually. I highly recommend trying to connect with the inner child in guided meditation. Of course, I write about inner child work in my book, Tools for the Awakening Soul, and how you can do that. If you are interested in doing this work, having a one-on-one support person, coach, hypnotherapist, somebody like me, is the most effective way, because then you can really get into what's in the subconscious mind. When we try to do it on our own, often our conscious mind will come up and put it off, or won't allow us to go as deep as we otherwise would, because that conscious mind is trying to keep us safe, right? That's or I should say actually that inner child subconscious mind working with the conscious mind is trying to keep us safe from even going there. So when you have another person, it's a very powerful way to kind of go deeper. If you're really wanting to dive deep, I'm starting to do a series of 6 intensive healing sessions where we do this childhood regression. We do a past life regression to clear away what's carried in from a past life. We work with the ego and different powerful writing exercises to clear away negative ego thoughts, connect with our future selves. And we do a few other things like neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy to really reprogram those negative things in a series of sessions. So you have options. Looking forward to supporting you in some way, and that loving, lovely, dear inner child within that is just wanting some love and some care and some attention. And it's so easy to give it to them, and it can help us in incredible ways in our lives. Thanks for listening. See you soon.